React is a JavaScript library used for designing and building interactive and lightweight user interfaces. It was developed by Facebook in 2012 and is now the most popular JavaScript library for creating UIs. In this image, you can see that React is the top choice among libraries and frameworks for building user interfaces or UIs. Other popular options in this space include Angular and Vue. Some of the major companies that use React include Facebook, X or formerly Twitter, BBC, the New York Times, Netflix, Airbnb, Pinterest, WhatsApp, Instagram, and many more. So if you are looking to increase your job opportunities as a front-end developer in the future, you definitely need to get familiar with React. Any application built with React is made up of a set of components. Each component is a piece of the user interface. This means that when you design a UI with React, you are essentially putting together a collection of components. The key feature of these components is that they are completely independent and isolated from one another. Even better, you can reuse a component multiple times and across different applications. In any app built with React, there is at least one component known as the root component. The root component essentially represents the entire application and is made up of smaller components. You can say that the structure of applications built with React is like a tree. Those who have worked with Angular 2 or higher are probably familiar with the concept of tree. Let's have an example. Suppose we want to build an app similar to Pinterest. You can break down a Pinterest page into a smaller component, like the top navigation bar, the list of recommendations, and the pinned ideas. Each pinned idea itself is made up of various components, like the main image and the save button, and so on. Each component is an independent piece of the UI. With React, these components are created separately and then assembled to form a complete UI. When implementing these components, each one is typically a JavaScript class that includes a state and a render method. The states contain data that we want to display after rendering the component. The render method determines what the UI will look like. The output of the render method forms a React element, which is a simple JavaScript object that represents DOM elements. However, these are not actual DOM elements, but rather simple JavaScript objects that represent the DOM element in memory. Essentially, we have a virtual DOM that doesn't require much memory or processing power to create. In practice, React creates a lightweight version of the real DOM or the browser DOM. When we change the state of a component, a new DOM element is created. React then compares the new elements and its children with the previous one to determine what changes occurred, and then updates the relevant part of the real DOM. This way, the real DOM always stays in sync with the virtual DOM. Unlike vanilla JavaScript or jQuery, we don't need to interact directly with the browser's API. In other words, there is no need to write code for manipulating the DOM or adding event handlers to the DOM. All you need to do is change the component's state, and React automatically updates the DOM to match the new state. That's why it's called React, because when a state changes, React responds to that change and updates the DOM accordingly. A common question is whether React is better than Angular. You could say that both are similar in that they are component-based in terms of architecture. However, Angular is a full-fledged framework, while React is just a library that primarily focused on rendering the UI and updating it based on state changes. That's really all React does. Because React has a very small API, it's easy to learn. When you use React to build an app, you'll need to use other libraries as well. But that's not a downside because you have the freedom to choose the libraries you need and you are not stuck with Angular framework, which can vary from version to version.